Me staring aurifully into the purple skies of Roku City. You watching an over-opinionated Chud's video in your room alone with a package of Goynip in your hand. The way of the world. Welcome back to the live from Roku City channel. I'm the Wild Papist, and we got a good one tonight. We're talking about everybody's favorite stuff, spiritual warfare. Everybody loves to go on and on about it, so we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give my uneducated opinion on it, as I do. I think there's maybe, I don't want to say overemphasis, but I think emphasis of the spiritual side of spiritual warfare, maybe at the expense of the physical side of spiritual warfare. And to see what I mean, I think all you really have to do is look around you, watch the news, see what the people are saying, see what the talking heads are saying, see what the politicians are doing, see what new bills are being passed. And you'll see that very clearly the institutions, the secular ones, hate you and they hate Christ because they're literally doing the actual bidding of Satan. Now, do I think that there's angels and demons waging invisible wars all around us 24/7? Yes, obviously, that's true. Do I also think that those wars can be heard through the media? Obviously, yes, as well. I think we can't forget the importance of the institutional aspect of what happens. We can't be so focused on the spiritual alone that we forget that it's actually happening around us, visibly as well. You know, when the president of the United States is fighting a holy war for Jewish Israel, and then going public and saying that the Pope of the Catholic Church is a liberal for calling for peace. I think that's maybe some sort of visible manifestation of a spiritual battle. A lot of these people that are so focused on spiritual warfare, a lot of times they'll throw out the institutions. They won't acknowledge that at all. They won't acknowledge that there's a real visible threat all around us at all times. There is people that want to prevent Christians from openly worshiping. They want to destroy us through the institutions. They want to destroy us through their secular powers, because all these secular powers are not actually really secular. All right, they're owned by Satan. They're owned and operated by actual Satan, not metaphorical, not figurative. Actual Satan is behind these institutions. But the same way that God uses people, the same way that God uses Moses or the prophets or the apostles or priests In that same exact way, the devil uses politicians. Um, he uses the mainstream media. It's the same exact thing happening. The same way that Christ established a visible institution for his worship, Satan established all the visible institutions, from governments to media to journalism to financial institutions. All the secular institutions are owned and operated by Satan to put forward his purposes. And that's the other half of the war that's going on. And that's just as important as the spiritual side. Being aware of what the enemy is doing through visible uh, through visible means is, I think, just as important as prayer, because it's the same thing. It's not two separate battles. We're not battling Satan and the White House. We're not battling Satan and the media. Okay, it's the same thing. It's two fronts of the same war. But I think the weapon is the same. I think our primary weapon is the same, and that's prayer. Prayer is the universal weapon. Nothing can beat that. Okay, prayer and the sacraments, nothing can beat that. Okay, I want to make that clear. But also, I think we should be aware of what's happening around the world. We should be aware of this global agenda that's going on, because that's trying to get us just as much as the spiritual side, just as much as temptation, just as much as doubt, just as much as hopelessness. It all comes together, and that's what we're fully up against. That is the fullness of the spiritual war. And it's really easy for that to look hopeless. We find out that you know every every major nation is compromised completely by pedophilia and cannibalism and ritualistic cannibalism and Satan worship and blasphemy and all these terrible things, all the terrible things that happen. And that also nothing is going to be done about that here. None of these people are going to face their consequences until they're in hell for eternity. That's when, on the day of judgment is when they're going to get what's actually coming to them. Okay, here on earth they have all the money, they have all the power. There's nothing you can do. All right, it's over there. But in the end we do win. Our victory is guaranteed. It's already happened. Okay, Christ is already risen. Christ is already king. We won already. Okay, now we're holding down the fort, basically. We're getting more people to come into the church, to be awakened to what's happening, to be awakened that no secular institution is actually out there for your benefit. They all hate you. They always have hated you. They're always going to hate you. They're going to continue to hate you more as time goes on, actually. And that's the way it is. The only institution that we can actually rely on is the church, because it was founded by Christ. The gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. We already won, okay? We have won. We are winning now, and we are going to win on the last day and for all of eternity. You know, I think anyone that says that the faith is not winning, that Christ is not winning, that the faithful are not winning, it's a psyop. Don't listen to that. Don't listen to those people. Okay, they're bought and sold. Okay, those people are not, they're not serious people. They've been bought and sold for secular earthly power. Their opinions are irrelevant. Okay, they value money, they value status, they value, you know, all these worthless things, but they don't have Christ. They don't have prayer. They don't have the sacraments. They don't have any of these things that represent actual winning. That's what it's about. So don't lose hope. We've won, we're winning, we're going to win. We're going to continue winning forever into eternity. And they're going to lose. They've already lost. They're losing now. They will lose, and they're going to lose for all of eternity unless they repent and believe in the gospel, of course. But that's pretty much where we're at. You know, fight your spiritual battles, pray, ask God to help you resist temptations. Thank Him for the temptations that He's helped you resist. Ask for forgiveness when you've given in to temptation. Beg for mercy. And that's how we win. That's how we win forever, is doing those things. But also remember the visible side of it. Remember that the secular institutions are not coming to help us. Okay, there is no guy coming. There is no there is no world leader that's gonna come bail us out of this. So stay strong. Stay in the faith and pray that you endure to the last day, and then you will be saved. And then instead of winning now, we can win for all of eternity. That's our hope. That's always been the hope. So stay in that hope as much as you possibly can. Stay faithful to God, and He will always stay faithful to you. That's all I have to say about that. Submit to Rome. Hail Mary. Christ is King. Don't fall for the psyop or the propaganda. I'm out of here.